What's good, everybody? Hope everybody's doing good today, tonight, whenever you're watching this. So I was scrolling through Facebook earlier, and I came across something that kind of cracked me up, but at the same time, I was, I was like, seriously, people are already trying to go down this freaking route with Donald Trump again for the third freaking time. Like, my goodness. This person I'm about to be talking about, Shri Thanedar or Thanedar, I don't know how the hell you even pronounce his last name. And to be honest, I forgot this dude even existed. I remember hearing his name a bunch back in 2018 when he was trying to run for representative. For those of you who don't know who Shri Thanedar is, he's basically a businessman, an author, and a politician who serves as the U.S. representative from Michigan's 13th Congressional District since 2023. To be honest, I didn't even know he was a part of that. And I'm a Michigander, have been a Michigander pretty much my entire life, but then again, I don't pay attention to what a lot of people, a lot of the politicians in this state have to say, because they're more worried about what Trump does or what Trump supporters do rather than taking care of their state. I mean, just look at Gretchen Whitmer or Dana Nessel, Rashida Tlaib, Justin Amash, and all of them. Just look at those people. But yeah, basically, Shri Thanedar, whatever. Screw it. I'm gonna say his name however the hell I want. So if I'm saying it wrong, my apologies. Well, I'm not really going to apologize because this dude's kind of a douchebag. But, yeah, like I said, I remember hearing about him a bunch back in 2018. And then recently, the past few days, I've been hearing about him again. I remember back in 2018, he was basically like, oh, well, Trump considered me a part of infestation, Trump is a racist, Trump did this and that, I feel violated because of Trump, and I want to run for U.S. representative to show that we are a better state, blah, 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 like, an infestation of what, dude? Over the amount of bullshit that you spew? I mean, come on now, dude. Nobody is considering you a part of an infestation. Unless if you're talking as far as somebody else's bullshit goes. But anyways, I digress. I'm sorry. The reason why I'm talking about this dude, now that I'm 3 minutes into this video, is because recently he called for Trump to be impeached again. A third fucking time, dude. Like, I mean, you're not the one responsible for the first 2 times, but man. Oh, excuse me. But my word, dude. Are you trying to allow yourself to have so much more negative attention? Twice as much negative attention as you've been dealing with in the past? Like, come the fuck on, dude. From what I understand, why frickin' Shri wants to do this is over the fact that, over the Kilmar Garcia situation or whatever the fuck is even going on with that. I mean, I've heard quite a few things about that, but honestly, I'm not even going to get into that. But, man, Shri, either you are trying to put a bunch, even more negative attention on yourself than what you already have, or you're just looking to start shit. Because the way I see it is, even if he were to get impeached for a third time, I mean, he's probably just going to end up being acquitted like the first 2 times that he's been impeached. And to be honest, like, dude, if it's gonna require you to pay to have him impeached or whatever nonsense you're trying to do to get him impeached, like, I will say this right now. You're over here wasting our tax money on things like this, or you want people to waste their tax money on things like that. Yet here you are, Michigan, the state I live in, has its own issues. We have cities here in the state of Michigan that are freaking suffering. People, cities where crime is absolutely high, like in Detroit, Flint, Saginaw, Benton Harbor, Muskegon Heights, Pontiac, Inkster, Highland Park. My list can continue. And then, areas that are starting to get bad, like Kalamazoo, Battle Creek, Bay City. Also, let's not forget that there's quite a few people in certain areas that need funding at this point. People that were affected by the March 30th severe thunderstorm that produced a bunch of tornadoes in quite a few areas here in Michigan, like Sturgis, Caledonia, freaking multiple other areas. People are without homes because of those tornadoes and because of the storm itself, because of how bad it was. Oh, and hear me out, Shri. That really bad ice storm that hit northern Michigan and on March 28th, that caused a lot of people to have their property ruined. Multiple businesses that had to shut down up in that area because of that ice storm. Quite a few power companies up that way that worked endlessly and tirelessly to make sure everybody got their frickin' power restored, and then multiple power companies up there like Consumers Energy, Great Lakes Energy, Alpena Power Company, and a few other energy companies up there received numerous amount of death threats because people weren't getting their power back as quick as they wanted their power back. There's a lot of people up that way that ended up losing a lot of money up there because of that ice storm that could definitely use funding. And you're over here wanting to waste our fucking tax money to get our president impeached. As much as I love my state, I'm proud to be a Michigander. The people that represent our state, our governor and some of our idiot politicians in this state fucking disgust me. I will say that right now. People will get mad at Mike Rogers or Bill Huizenga or any other politician here in Michigan that actually does what they are supposed to do. They'll get mad at them, but have no issue with liberal politicians here in Michigan like Shri Thanedar or Gretchen Whitmer or Dana Nessel or any of them wasting our money on things that we don't need. Won't say a damn word about those people, which is pretty freaking sad. And I'll say this right now. To anybody that wants to sit there and try and impeach Trump a third time, you guys can all go kick rocks. But I will say, though, is if he does get impeached a third time and he ends up getting acquitted as well for a third time, I'm just going to laugh. You know why? Because people are trying their best to try and do things that's going to ruin Trump. They thought him having a bunch of felonies was going to stop him from doing things. They thought him getting shot in the ear was going to stop him and all this crap. And guess what? He's still going. So you know what? You guys are doing nothing but wasting your damn time. And that's exactly what you're doing, Shri. There's multiple things out there that I believed that Biden should have been impeached for, that he never got impeached for. And you know what? I'm not even going to go on with that list because my list frickin' continues. But to anybody out there who supports impeaching Trump again, You guys are just wasting your time. I will say that right now. That's all I've had to say for this video. I don't want to make this video too long. I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of hate. I'm going to get a lot of people judging me, calling me names like racist or bigot or call me fat or whatever. And you know what? I don't care. You say what you have to say, and that's that. You guys all take care now. And also, Happy Easter, by the way. Hope everybody plans to have a really good Easter. Peace out.